If you want to stop the build up in arousal that leads to you engaging in things that you don't want to do, here is a suggestion. It's just a recommendation. You can do it or not, but this comes from life experience. This is real, practical information that's going to help you master your body and bring that arousal into subjection. It's simply applying self restraint. Now, when I say applying self restraint, I am not talking about using your human will to take a control over your body and order your flesh to do something. We've already done that. We've already tried that, and it hasn't worked. It doesn't work. What occurs is this: you will stop the engagement, and you will tamp it down, or you will suppress it, or you will deny it, or you will ignore it. But ultimately, it's like that white elephant in the room that'll start blowing its trunk and sounding off. And ultimately, you're going to go out and you're going to engage. And this time, it's going to be more intense. And each time we deny by way of using our will to self-control and restrain, and then we lose that battle, we go deeper into that issue, and we cut an even deeper groove into our soul, which makes it even more challenging and more difficult to get free of it. The simplest way to use self-restraint is fasting. And it's amazing that of all the recommendations that I've heard on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or Snapchat or wherever, no one ever talks about fasting. Now, you have to ask yourself, why is that? Well, one of the reasons fasting is unpleasant. It doesn't feel good. You're denying yourself food for a period of time. And so you know what happens when you deny yourself food for a period of time. You can't help but think about the next meal. And if you are committed to the fast, for the period of the fast, whether it's a full no liquid, no food fast, or a partial liquid, partial food fast, or you're fasting from certain activities, you and I both know that our mind gets preoccupied with that, with getting that food. You might think I'm inferring that if I'm fasting from satisfying my sexual arousal, that I would be preoccupied with it. And I'm going to tell you that that is not true. From personal experience, I can honestly tell you that when you fast, you aren't thinking about getting intimacy, experiencing intimacy. Your arousal isn't even engaged. It disengages. And your primary focus is the feeling of not the feelings that come with the not eating, right? But also your body is now starved. It's now going through a period of starvation, so it activates your survival mechanism. And that survival mechanism is all about getting food. And most of us have noticed, if we've done a fast for any length of time, our sense of smell becomes more acute. Our sense of hearing becomes more acute. Our sense of taste becomes more acute. Even our thoughts become more sharp and more clear. And the longer you go into the fast, you realize that you start experiencing, after you go through this initial period of sluggishness, and once you come out of that, you have energy. It's like, for some odd reason, your body is filled with energy and you just want to get out and do stuff. Even in the midst of fasting, you would think you'd be too tired to eat. But I'm telling you, when you've passed that sluggish kind of a lethargic period in the fasting, then you hit that spike and you have a spike of energy. You want to get out and you're going to go and walk and you're going to go interact. And that's at that point where you're not having hunger pains. So here's what's going on the inside. Your body is simply burning fat. It's converted. It's a conversion process. I don't know all of the intimate details on how it works. I'm just talking about from experience. But I do know this. Your body starts to burn the fat stores that you have. Remember what I said earlier? Your body can't do two things at the same time. It can't pursue arousal, satisfaction in the procreative sense, and pursue higher things. like getting food, getting sustenance. When we have deprived our body of food, then our body shifts to seeking sustenance. And if we're using our will to restrain from eating, then our body then shifts to focusing on burning fat so that it can survive. What I'm saying is the body moves away from procreation to survival. And so its mode and its emphasis and its focus is producing energy to survive. And if any of us have ever had intimacy while we were hungry, you know that that can be a very draining experience. Well, biologically, your body knows that. So your body isn't going to engage in anything that's going to expend more energy than is necessary. It's going to be looking to accumulate and acquire and store up more energy. And so that's why it starts burning fat, and that's why we start having more energy, and it translates into having more clarity in our thinking, and more our senses are becoming more acute. So the solution to dampening or dousing or temporarily extinguishing the arousal drive to procreate is fasting. And so when I say fasting, it can't be that you're still eating solids, and you can't be eating a lot. So when I say fasting, either a full no liquid, no food fast, or a partial, some food, small amounts, and then liquids, or a liquid fast. And that could be water or it could be a fruit juice. But what you have to do is, I think what they call it is that keto thing, where you remove the carbs from your diet and it somehow switches and you're just eating proteins and vegetables, and then the body starts burning the carbs in you for energy. Again, I'm not super smart on that, but from my own experience, I can tell you this. When I am fasting regularly, I am not thinking about any kind of procreative pursuit. And that arousal thing that typically happens, I don't even have it. It's extinguished. It's so muted because the body is reprioritizing its drives that I don't even experience it. And when I'm fasting regularly, nothing. At this point in my life, I've been fasting so routinely, regularly over the past year, doing intermittent fasting, that at this point, my body has made a switch in terms of pursuing goals, driving toward creating things, developing myself. And so that energy that was going down to push me in a procreative way and in a procreative direction is now transmuted and pushing me in towards a more creative direction. And see, that's what that energy is for. It's for us to be fruitful and for us to multiply. But see, fruitfulness and multiplication don't always have to be expressed procreatively. They can be expressed through projects and creations and things that we build, aspects of ourself, our personality, our physiology that we develop, multiplying in terms of building more relationships and enhancing ourselves. See, that energy can go toward extending oneself by producing more children, or it can go to extending yourself by reproducing yourself through ideas and inventions and relationships. It's really just a matter of doing something specific and concrete that can flip that switch and get that energy to transmute upward instead of going down and expressing grossly downward. Now, there's nothing wrong with procreation, but it must be done in a way that is not harmful. It must be expressed in a way that is not detrimental to society. It must be conducted in a way that doesn't destroy relationships. Does that make sense? Summing it all up, fast. Start with a couple of hours and then build. Pray first, seek guidance, talk to your doctor, find out where your health is, and after you've gotten enough information, then plan out how you're going to do your fasting. I'm just telling you, fasting is the one surefire way to mute that arousal voice. This is Brother Floyd. Thank you for coming to my channel. Go get my book. You'll find it in my profile. It's about celibacy and abstinence. Get that book, read that book, and you